But before we go, I got to tout the best seasonings. Pastor, look, this guy's a friend of mine. His name is Bob Midget, and he owns a company called BJ's Barbecue and Sauces. You can reach him at bjsbarbecueandsauces.com. And I know you can cook now. You know Bob. Of course,
Oh,
I know
yeah,
you
I
know
know.
Bob.
Yeah, I know it.
Bob's living in Georgia now, and
Oh,
he's opened up a company. Man, I've tried his dry rub. I've tried his barbecue sauce. It is off the hook.
well, I remember when he's out there in
Exactly.
Raleigh.
Bob's Country
Yeah,
Barbecue.
yeah.
Well, now he's showing you why his barbecue was so good because of the sauces and the dry rubs that he have on it. I use it every day.
Okay.
I put his dry rub on my eggs.
Mm.
That's how good it is.
Oh, that must be really good.
You remember Campbell's soup? Remember
Yeah.
the commercial?
Mhm,
It
mhm.
was good.
Yeah.
It is absolutely incredible. I need you to go to bjbarbecueandsauces.com and order a box set of everything. He has hot sauce, he has barbecue sauce, he has dry rub. I'm telling you, he has mild sauce, he has hot sauce. All of it is delectable. It is bellissimo.
Mm.
And I want you to go to bjbarbecueandsauces.com. Again, bjbarbecueandsauces.com and at least order that barbecue and that dry rub. I'm telling you, you will throw all the rest of your seasonings away because it covers it all. I'm telling you the truth. bjbarbecueandsauces.com. Go to it right now, order it, and get the best seasonings that you've ever tasted in your life. Because I tell you, it's good.
All right.
All right, and welcome to another edition of Josh Talk Sports. Glad to be back in the building with y'all here in the Talkback Live Network studios. Welcome to y'all that are coming in the chat. And yes, this is live, y'all. Those that are asking, shout out to Greg and Frankie in the building. This is live. I am live and in living color. Right here on Talkback Live Network. Glad to be back with y'all on today. And man, I got something I definitely want to talk about here today. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Go ahead and hit that like button if you're watching right now. Follow my page as well. Follow our different pages. We're live right now on YouTube, Talkback Live Network. Also live right now on Facebook on my page, Josh C. Midget, and also Talkback Live with Bob and Josh Facebook page. We're live on there. We're live on the new Twitch channel. Go to Twitch and just search for Talkback Live Network on Twitch, one word. You'll find me live there too as well. If you feel so inclined, you can send some stars as well to support what we do here, specifically on Facebook as well. So, how y'all doing today? Another day, man. Football season's right around the corner. We talking college football. We talking NFLs around the corner. Everything is starting to pop off. We're getting a little closer to fall. Labor Day weekend is coming up as well. So the sports atmosphere is about to be really, really full at the moment. And you're already seeing the talk about college football. So much has changed. We may get into that a little bit toward the end when you look at how these conferences are starting to be lined up and the way it's looking right now. So we'll talk about that too. But the main thing I want to talk about today is Deion Sanders. I know it was a couple days ago I made the post, and quite a few of y'all hit up that post and seem to be looking forward to getting into that discussion, because we all know Deion Sanders is the head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes at the moment. And, has been making waves really since he entered the college football landscape. He's been making waves, being Coach Prime as he is. And we know a lot of y'all, including myself and everybody else, a lot of people have become big fans of what he's doing. It was a kind of a pop culture movement there for a minute until they started losing. Then you didn't see the celebrities show up to the games as much as they did in the beginning. But all that being said, so much coming up. That's right, Greg, bringing up the Florida State loss to Georgia Tech. He said that kind of sucks for the matchup with them for the Tigers. It kind of does. I'm not going to lie to you. But to me, it just shows that the Tigers could probably actually win that game. But you also have to be careful. I'll get into this before I get into the Deion Sanders thing real quick, because since you brought it up, Greg. To me, you got to be careful, because you all know with any sport, in the beginning of the season, you got rust. You got the new quarterback that Florida State was working in. He's super talented, supposedly. Big-time recruit that they brought in. It was his first actual college football game in Dublin, Ireland. So you talk about a big atmosphere, a big moment in his first game. And you go out there, it's an opponent that I'm sure Florida State underestimated in Georgia Tech, who hasn't done much of anything in a long time. And Georgia Tech knew that was their moment to show the world whether they're legitimate or not going into this season. And yeah, one team that felt like they didn't really need this win, probably, working in a new quarterback, and Georgia Tech, who felt like they had everything to play for, nothing to lose, I'll put it that way, on a national stage. And that's what you got. But nonetheless, I'm still excited for Memphis and Florida State just because it's Florida State. And it's Mike Norvell playing against his old team, the Memphis Tigers. Memphis going to Tallahassee, by the way. That's going to be a wild scene just to see that visual. And as good as the Tigers have built this team personnel-wise, I want to see what they do on the field. The Tigers have the all-time leading passer in the history of the University of Memphis in Seth Hennigan. Most people don't even know that, I don't think, because Hennigan, for whatever reason, I don't feel like he's got nearly as much attention as the past quarterbacks like Riley Ferguson or Brady White, or even going all the way back to Danny Wimprime with D'Angelo Williams days. Seth Hennigan's been putting up crazy numbers and has a chance, this is final year, to break every single passing record in the University of Memphis football history. So that's going to be something. What's up, Leon? Leon coming in as well with the hello. Good to see you, my man. Everybody else that continues to come in. Also, if you're coming in, go ahead and hit that like button as well. See, some of y'all have already done it. Share this video also. We appreciate that. But yeah, like I said, man, as far as Tiger football, it's going to be interesting. You got half a stadium because they done tore down half the stadium. You're going to play in a half stadium, which may work out in favor when it comes to actually filling up the arena because they don't have half the seats to fill up this year. So that's going to be interesting to watch. Yeah, Kevin, hey, man, I hadn't seen you in so long. Good to see you, man, coming in on the live. But you're right. Yeah, Georgia Tech quarterback is underrated as well, and he showed it in that game. But yeah, so what are your expectations too, since we kind of brought this up and not going to stay on it real long, about the Memphis Tigers football team heading into this season? And national outlets, even Nick Saban brought up the Memphis Tigers. He said Memphis State has a chance to make some noise this year. He called them Memphis State. So it shows how long he's been following the Tigers, I guess. He thought they were still called Memphis State. I like the Memphis State name, actually, still. But nonetheless, Memphis is on the radar. They're considered one of the best Group of 5 schools in the country. And I'll say this to start off, and I'm not going to get into no rant, but I'm going to just say this now. Ryan Silverfield has no excuse. Him and his staff have done an amazing job. This is the thing I always give him credit for, recruiting. You got the leading tackler on your defense from the University of Tennessee on your football team leading the defense. Transferred from Tennessee to Memphis after leading the Volunteers in tackles last year. He's one of your stalwarts on defense now. You got the all-time leading passer in Memphis history as your quarterback. You got some weapons now. You got some offensive line transfers that came in. Defense, I'm hearing that they're looking pretty good. So to me, there's no real excuses. You got expectations. I don't want to hear people protecting this guy if they fall short. So he has no excuses. So I'm going to just say that right off the rip. But we'll see. Season starts this week. They got 2 games, warm-up games, I'll call them both, before they head to Tallahassee to play Florida State. Greg says Florida State lost a lot from last year's team. They did. This is true. Frankie says prior to the Florida State loss, I had originally marked the Florida State game as a loss for Memphis. I agree. But looking at what they got, man, Memphis might have, I don't know if I can say a better team, because Florida State always recruits well and Norvell, brings in guys, but they did lose a lot. That Florida State team last year went undefeated. And there was a big argument that they should have been in the playoffs. So you ain't got to worry about that this year because there's going to be 12 teams. And depending on how Memphis does, they have a legitimate chance to make the 12-team playoff. That's a lot of teams. So we'll see. What are y'all expectations for Memphis football this year? So let me go into this. And y'all saw the flyer in the beginning of the show here. And that is Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes. Now, I know some people are like, okay, Josh, there's not nearly as much talk about them this year as there were in the previous year. And I'd agree with that. There's no question about that. But here's the thing. They're still talking about it to some degree. And here's why.
Got to tout.
Keeps playing. There we go. But like I said, no matter that, there's still quite a bit of talk. And it's on the negative side when it comes to Deion Sanders. And the title of this live is Deion Sanders versus the media. So there's been a lot of back and forth, button heads over the last few weeks between Deion Sanders and the media in Colorado and elsewhere. And it's beginning to raise the question. Greg, I think you even asked it in my original post about this. Is Deion turning into or showing himself to be a bit of a diva when it comes to people being critical of him, people being critical of the program, things of that nature. So we're going to dive into that and get into that discussion. But I got some clips to play for y'all, and we're going to go into it that way. And I'm really curious what you all have to say about it as I hit my phone there. Also, let me put up the phone number so y'all can call as well, because I definitely want y'all to join in on the conversation and let y'all join in that way. So let me do that right now. But first, let's lead off into what's going on. So Deion Sanders has had 2 or 3 instances in the press conference over the past few weeks where he's gotten into it with members of the media, whether it's the Denver Post, big newspaper up in Denver, Colorado, whether it's CBS for different reasons or things of that nature based off things that they've said and the way they've covered the program. Question is it fair or is it not? So we're going to talk about that also. And matter of fact, let me move this up so then y'all can see the number. There we go. To join the conversation. Got it on the screen right now, 706-250-6252. But before y'all call, let me play this first clip, and then we're going to get into it even more. Y'all give me your thoughts. This is the first 2 instances of Deion having some things to say to the media. Y'all check this out, and we will be right back.
Next guy.
Eric Christensen with CBS Sports Colorado.
CBS,
Tyler,
I'm not doing nothing with CBS. Next question.
Joe Rigo, Mile High
Ain't got nothing
Sports
to do with
Vegas.
you. It's above that. Ain't got nothing to do with you. I got love for you. I appreciate you, respect you. Ain't got nothing to do with you. They know what they did.
I'm here in Denver, not national.
You are who you are. CBS is CBS.
All right.
Joe
Ain't got
Rigo,
nothing
Mile
to
High
do with
Sports.
you. I respect you. That's why I told you that. I'm looking you in the eye as a man. I respect you. I got love for you. But what they did was foul.
Coach Sean Keeler, the Denver Post. Happy summer, my man.
You don't like us, man. Why do you do this to yourself?
Come on.
You
No,
don't like us.
Mark
You-
likes
you-
me, by the way.
Huh?
Yeah. Mark said he likes me.
No,
so
but
that's
you
one.
don't. Why do you
That's
do
one.
this though?
No, I'm sorry. 2-parter if I could.
No, I'm
Football
serious. Why do
question.
you do this? Like, you know you don't. Like, why do you do
No,
this?
no, it's not about that. Football question. Football
No,
question.
why do you do this? Like, it would be hard for me to really engage in someone I don't like or something I don't like. I'm just asking why. Like, why?
Gotta pay
What
the
did
bills,
I
Coach.
do?
You didn't do anything. It's not about that. This is
But
a football
why?
question.
I'm asking you why.
Yeah, you can answer that. That's
Okay,
not
answer
your
me.
business.
What?
Yeah.
Because you want me to answer you. So
Yeah,
can you-
okay, that's fine. That's fair.
Why?
Why? Because I have
Give me
questions.
your why.
What's your why? What do you want to know?
Why do you always on attack? Like, what did we do?
Where am I on attack today? Where am I on attack?
Yeah, I'm not gonna give you opportunities to be on attack. But I'm asking you why. Like, what does it do for you? Like, what happened?
It's not about me.
But what happened to get you like this?
It's a good question.
No, I'm serious. Because I want to help. No, I'm serious. I want to help. Because it's not normal.
We can talk about that.
Okay.
Can I ask you a football question?
No,
Seriously.
No, we'll talk about that. When we talk about that, I'll talk about that with you.
Can we ask you a football question, please?
When I talk about that, we talk about that. We can talk about that.
So there's that. There's a lot there. There is a lot there. So in the first part of
But
that
before
clip,
we go, I got to
and
tout
somebody
the
wants to
best
keep
seasoning.
touting. I
Pastor,
appreciate that, but I don't know why it keeps doing that particular commercial when I transition. But anyway, all right, we'll get that together. But nonetheless, here's the thing. So the first part of that clip, and y'all go ahead and leave your thoughts. You can also call in 706-250-6252, 706-250-6252 if you got thoughts or opinions on what I'm talking about here. So the first instance was him and a CBS reporter that was local CBS in Denver, Colorado. So what I found out, and I saw a clip, this was from Stephen A. Smith that went into it, and I'm not going to play it because it's kind of long. But just to summarize, he found out that it was a situation where a reporter was doing some business with Colorado, the university, and covering the team and things of that nature, and they were working on a story on the Colorado football team. And the reporter happened to be black, right, for CBS, and was working on this story for evidently days and weeks. And when the story was about close to coming out, CBS decided to switch the reporter, who was a black man, from what I hear, and switch it to somebody that was a white individual. And basically, the work that the previous person did would be credited to the new person that they put on the story. Now, evidently, he took exception to that because he felt like that was unfair after seeing this guy around the team, reporting, working on this story, and then to pull it from him at the last minute seemed a bit prejudiced, to say the least. That's why he was ticked off at anything CBS. Now, the question comes, was it fair for him to do that to anything CBS labeled? Because he was dealing with national CBS that was reporting. The local CBS in the city had nothing to do with the situation and that reporter. Now, he told him, he said, I respect you, I love you, but you affiliated with CBS. We're not going to do anything with them. That's where that comes from. Now, here's the finish to that. A few days ago, either yesterday or maybe the day before, I saw a video of Coach Prime saying that he apologized to the CBS reporter and said that we have squashed that situation. So for those that were watching that and saw that from a few weeks ago, he says we squashed that beef. It's over. I've always respected this guy. But that whatever that situation was has been handled. Who knows how it was handled? Nobody knows. He just said it's handled. So you got that as water under the bridge. Now, the second situation where he was talking to the reporter from the Denver Post, Sean Keeler, who's kind of made his name now for this whole drama with Coach Prime. He's a columnist and a reporter, a white man as well, in the Denver Post. He took exception to him being condescending, and the articles that he would write were what some people could consider personal, to the point of calling Deion different types of names, almost like he's, he says for people, he's Deion's Kool-Aid and stuff like that, and citing that he's, or he called him a false prophet as well in an article, and several other things. There was reports on his son, Shiloh, as well, that he wasn't very happy about. But all of that has caused this big friction between him and the Denver Post. This is the second situation, and the main one most people are talking about right now. Now it's come out, and I got some more clips for y'all, but now it's come out that this reporter is banned from asking questions to Coach Prime for the rest of the season. And also, the University of Colorado has come out with a statement saying, in essence, in short, that they are supporting Coach Prime and they are behind the decision to not allow him to ask any questions to anything football related on the University of Colorado's campus. Now, that's something that shows the university is behind Coach Prime. But a lot of the media has started to come out and say, is he ruling with an iron fist? Is he starting to look like a dictator? If somebody asks a question that you don't like, should you be able to shut them down like this? Is this going too far? There's one man that's really been saying some harsh things, and that's Paul Feinbaum, who's been known for years as a man that covers college football on ESPN, on the radio, for years and years and years. Old head in the media, I guess you could say. And he has been one of the big voices talking down about Deion and what he's doing. And I'm going to play a clip from him talking about the way Deion Sanders is handling himself. Then I'm going to ask y'all again, what do you think about this situation. So take a look and a listen to this report. This is from ESPN's Get Up morning show. Now, y'all take a look and listen.
I wanted to also get a perspective from you guys on this huge story out of Colorado, and I saw so much written about it while I was away. Alumnus Sean Keeler has been banned by Colorado football from asking questions of Deion Sanders. A university media relations staffer told the newspaper it took issue with Keeler's references to Sanders as, quote, deposition Deion, the Bruce Lee of BS, and a false prophet. And these are phrases such as Planet Prime, the Deion Kool-Aid, and the circus. So the reporter, in this case the columnist, has taken a lot of shots at Deion Sanders and the program. This is the statement from the university. After a series of sustained personal attacks on the football program and specifically on Coach Prime, the athletic department, in conjunction with the football program, have decided not to take questions from columnist Sean Keeler at football-related events. Meanwhile, Deion then had this exchange with another member of the media on Saturday.
If I ask a negative question, will you not answer them anymore?
That's being negative right now. Like, you take an approach that I'm going to be negative. I'm not negative to anybody in here. I will challenge you and ask you why or where is this coming from. So I'm not built like that. I'm not built to hate. I'm not a hateful guy. I come with love. I think if anybody in here has had encounters with me, I don't come with the bull junk. I come with the peace and the joy. Now, when you show me where you stand, I might have to change that a little bit. So I'm not going to match your ignorance.
For that exchange on Saturday, it is worth pointing out that Deion has unique language in his contract that says he is required to speak only with, quote, mutually agreed upon media. I happened to be in Colorado while I was on my vacation, so there was a lot of conversation about this. Paul, what was your reaction to it all?
Coach Prime is showing he is not ready for prime time, Greeny. I find this whole thing to be disgraceful. Deion may want to talk about love and joy, and that's been the cornerstone of what he seems to be spewing out. But treating reporters like this seems like we're in some autocratic country. This is not America, and the fact that it's in his contract is really even more absurd. But don't forget, he did this at Jackson State. This is a trait of Deion Sanders. He wants to have it his way, and I find him to be a bully and a hypocrite. And quite frankly, as someone who has been a fan of his throughout his entire career, even at Colorado, I am mortified by his actions.
Dan Orlovsky and
So there's that. And the super loud rock music that ESPN put behind that video. I liked it, but good grief. You think, big organization can turn that down so I can hear what the guy's actually saying. But nonetheless, hopefully y'all heard most of that. Paul Feinbaum basically, essentially, calling Deion Sanders a hypocrite with the way he runs his program and the ridiculous way of not answering a reporter's question, thinking he's what he called him, an autocratic country, basically preventing people from reporting on it if they don't agree with what King Deion says. It's basically what Paul Feinbaum's saying. So Deion has responded in kind, and I'm going to play that for you in a minute. But y'all just let me know. And I'm going to read some of these comments that have already come in. What's up, GKP? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. But for y'all just coming in, want to let you know again, we're talking about Deion Sanders, him versus the media. Has it gone too far? Is it the media pushing too hard, being unbalanced, unfair, discriminatory in some ways? Or is Deion just being a diva and not handling things the right way? So I'm going to read some of the comments that already came in. I believe Greg's was first here. He said, Coach just needs to stop responding to crap written about him and the team. Makes him an easier target. Now, the writer said some off-the-wall things like calling him a false prophet and whatnot. Not sure what that writer's agenda is other than getting under Coach Prime's skin and give him more talking points. Now, there are people that have said, hey, man, look, you're giving this dude more popularity by responding to him in this way. Now everybody knows who he is, number one. And two, he might be happy that he's gotten under your skin to the point that he's banned from asking questions. Now you've almost given him more of a platform to say, hey, I'm this big deal that so he doesn't like my questions to such a degree, or my questions are so tough that he doesn't even want me to ask him anymore. Now he can be a martyr or play the victim even more so. So who knows, is this, working against him more than for Deion in the response and the university? Because really the university says, hey, Deion, we were with you. Now, on one hand, that's a good sign. And on the other hand, maybe this is on the same hand, you better believe Colorado's going to be on Deion's side. You know why? Because the football program was dead before he got there. And in 1 year, they sold more tickets. They sold more merchandise. There's people in Georgia walking around with Coach Prime Colorado gear. They ain't never been to Colorado. That's because of Deion Sanders and how cool the stuff looks, by the way. And he's just a big figure and a big name. So that university, you better believe they're going to get behind him until he doesn't start winning. Because that first year, and again, it's the first year, and I think people are holding that too harshly against Deion, to be honest with you. It was his first year at the program that had won one game before he got there. And last year they won 4 games. They finished 4-8. A lot worse than I think some people anticipated, even though it's his first season trying to turn over a program that's been terrible for 20 years. But progress is slow, despite the hype that ended up happening. And come to find out, in case y'all don't know, 5 of those 8 losses were by 1 possession. So at least they're making progress. But is Coach Prime being a little too heavy-handed when it comes to certain things? Y'all let me know. Another comment, my guy Kevin, a.k.a. IC, for those of y'all to go way back with us. Good to see you, man. He says, Coach Prime can shut the media up with just by winning at Colorado. Coach Prime can quiet the noise from media by winning. He won at Jackson State University, and he showed the media that he can coach and win. And that's a great point. Now, the question is, how much do they actually respect what he did at Jackson State? In 2 years there, I believe it was 2 years, he went to the championship game both years. Even though they lost both, to be honest. But they went to the championship game, the highest level you can go at that level, both years. Then he comes to Colorado, wins 4 games. Kevin says Coach Prime will win at Colorado. There you go. Got my guy Greg here, says this is unnecessarily confrontational. Come on, Prime. Shaking his head there. Got Frankie who says he's always been a diva, but I like him, but he is very thin-skinned and makes everything personal. That's what a lot of people are saying right now. Kevin says, Coach Prime, in my opinion, he should have answered the question from the local reporter. And it's tough. Like, the way I like it and I don't with the way Deion operates. He operates completely non-PR like. He's not like a coach that'll give you the politically correct answer ever. He's always off the cuff. He's always real, maybe to a negative extent when it comes to stuff like this. He's never going to hide what he's feeling. And maybe he shouldn't do that. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Penny Hardaway. Now, both guys that are legendary in sports, as athletes. But there's a bit of a negative because they can almost be too honest. And that was one thing I said some years ago about Penny. You don't have to say everything you're thinking. You don't have to be completely uncensored all the time because they're going to use that against you. I'm not saying to lie, but I'm saying you ain't got to tell all your business. Whether it's how you're feeling, whether it's who you got a problem with, and all of that. You don't have to put that publicly because 1, it gives those people more power. And 2, it's just going to feed into the thought that a black man, and I'm going there, being a head coach, can only think with his emotions. You know, and I think he can coach. I think he can win. And this may not even affect them one way or the other on the field. But I don't know if it helps. So I don't know. Got another comment here, GKP. So he says, so we're talking about the Deion heckler, not a game. Shout out to Allen Iverson. He says, that guy has no place in media with his disrespectful self. The Deion heckler got what he deserved. Hashtag the Don Father, GKP. Hey, a lot of people feel that way too. You know, if somebody's being disrespectful in the media about you all the time, talking about your son, talking about you, calling you a false prophet, saying you're passing out Kool-Aid, with reference to you know what, you know what I'm saying, and all sorts of stuff like that. Should you be able to just come out and blast them and ban them from asking questions? It's one thing I know about the media, especially when it comes to black coaches, to be honest, and certain types of black coaches. Because, you know, me and Bob covered a lot of this stuff for years going back. I'm using Memphis as an example because you saw a lot of this where people will push buttons intentionally to get a reaction because they don't like a coach, and then go out on their media platform and say you need to get rid of this, or we don't need to believe that, despite the results. I felt a lot of that. Some of that happened with Lionel Hollins because a media person took something personally and tried to change the narrative with the local people in that city, despite the results on the basketball court at that time. Now, the difference is Deion hasn't really won at that level yet at Colorado. He's churning some things around. He's only been there a year. This is the start of his second season. But you have to be careful how you maneuver. And did he do it the right way? Once again, y'all got some thoughts, several more comments I have to read that are coming in. But matter of fact, here we go. Phone line is ringing as we speak. So let's go there now. All right, caller, welcome to the show.
Y'all already know who it is.
Yes, sir, GKP. Good to hear you, man.
What's good, Don?
What's good, man? How you doing?
Man, listen, I'm on top of the ground and the ground not on top of me. I'm doing good, okay?
Same here, man. Same here. Good to hear from you.
Good to see you, brother. Listen here, I'm going to get to the point. I know it's been a minute. Tell Bob I said hello. I'm sure he's close by, okay? He can never let you just do your show, okay? So I'm pretty sure he's somewhere nearby just waiting on his opportunity to get something in there, or add something. So good evening, Bishop, okay?
He may or may not be close by. This is true. Yeah.
Oh, he may or may not. He told you to say may not because he knows that I've already discerned that he's close by. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, as far as this Deion heckler, man, listen,
Okay.
listen, the guy got what he deserved. Listen, you don't skip Bayless people all the time, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to know when enough is enough, okay? And if anybody's been following this little character, he's one of those. He's one of the picky, okay? He's one of what I call the picky, like to pick on and harp on things and keep saying, the nonchalant, you know what I mean? That type dude.
Oh, yeah.
And when you find a guy like that, man, the best thing to do is, not answer the question. And, hey, if you got the power, hey, man, you just get him out of there. And you never have to deal with it. On with the season. Simple.
Definitely. Now, what do you think about folks saying he's overstepping, or not overstepping necessarily, but shouldn't let this bother him, shouldn't respond? He's thin-skinned. We got Frankie saying that, and Greg.
Hey, man, he's Deion Sanders. Didn't LeBron get Bronny on the Lakers?
Yeah.
Okay, there's perks come with certain things.
Okay.
Okay? Everybody know prime time gets perks, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He's not the regular coach. He's the biggest coach since Nick Saban as far as college football is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You don't come in here first. What did he tell the guy when he first got in the league? when the guy wants to get up there and call him Deion or call him, what did he say?
Yeah,
He
call me
said,
Coach
you
Prime.
call me coach.
Yeah.
You don't call me Prime. I'm a coach now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So that's my 2 cents, man. I just had to call, because I know y'all missed me, and it's been a minute. You did what I'm saying. So, hey, man, listen. I know some of your fans might be upset at my take, but hey, who doesn't get upset with GKP from time to time? But no, the heckler has to go.
All right, that man said the heckler has to go. The Deion heckler. Hey, man, like I said, I'm not mad at it at all. I'm not mad at it. I'm just curious what y'all think. But hey, man, I appreciate you calling. It's always good hearing from you, brother.
No problem. Y'all already know who it is.
Yes, sir. All right. That's GKP signing off. Good stuff, man. But what y'all think? What y'all think about what he had to say? Saying that Deion did what he needed to do and that's it. Several more comments coming in. Let me read some of these. Y'all can see a lot of them on the screen there. But let me see. Kevin came back with another comment. He says he went to the HBCU championship twice and lost, but he brought back life to the Jackson State University program. He did. Everybody was talking about it. Let's see. And another one here. All of the SWAC schools benefited when Coach Prime was at Jackson State. Jackson State was packing the stands at home and away games. That's true. And black coaches get treated a different way. This is all from Kevin, by the way. He said black coaches get treated different way from the other coaches. Expectations are different for the black coaches. Just look at Tony Dungy. Look at Mark Jackson, Lovie Smith, and Brian Flores. Those are some outstanding examples. You think about Tony Dungy. That was one of the first I remember, at least, that I saw with my own eyes as a young man, as a kid, really. Tony Dungy, what he did with Tampa Bay. We're not talking about the Colts before he went to Indianapolis. We're talking about with Tampa Bay when Tony Dungy had that team. Sean King at quarterback, Simeon Rice, Ward Dunn, I believe. Keyshawn Johnson, I think, was there at the time. Warren Sapp, guys like that. They had a team that was close to going to the Super Bowl. What do? John Gruden on the market. They go hire him. Guess what? They win the Super Bowl the next season. Everybody's talking about how great Gruden is when Tony Dungy got them to that point. Mark Jackson, another man that Kevin brought up. In the NBA, he coached the Golden State Warriors. He brought up not Steve Curry. He brought up Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green when they came to Golden State, molded them to be a winning team. They fire him for some backstage reasons. Steve Kerr reaps the benefits of all those championships and being considered one of the greatest coaches of all time, when really he inherited an outstanding situation that he's benefited from all the way to this day. Talking about Brian Flores, what happened to him with Miami in the NFL, Lovie Smith in Chicago. So there's a lot of examples. You can think of plenty of other words. I remember the coach at Notre Dame, I forget his name, black coach, but they are different expectations in the way they're treated. A lot of times. It really is, especially by the media. Do you think what Deion is going through, is that one of those situations, or did he bring it on himself? 706-250-6252. Now, the last clip I played, again, was Paul Feinbaum, who's been one of those guys that's really considered to be pretty harsh on Deion when it comes to some things. I want to play that clip one more time in case some of y'all didn't see it. And some of that is from some things that Deion had to say, the University of Colorado had to say, and then Paul Feinbaum's reaction on ESPN. Then we're going to go into my last clip of Deion responding. So here we go with that.
On Saturday.
If I ask a negative question, will you not answer them anymore?
That's being negative right now. Like, you take an approach that I'm going to be negative. I'm not negative to anybody in here. I will challenge you and ask you why or where is this coming from. So I'm not built like that. I'm not built to hate. I'm not a hateful guy. I come with love. I think if anybody in here has had encounters with me, I don't come with the bull junk. I come with the peace. and the joy. Now, when you show me where you stand, I might have to change that a little bit. So I'm not going to match your ignorance.
For that exchange on Saturday, it is worth pointing out that Deion has unique language in his contract that says he is required to speak only with, quote, mutually agreed upon media. I happened to be in Colorado while I was on my vacation, so there was a lot of conversation about this. Paul, what was your reaction to it all?
Coach Prime is showing he is not ready for prime time, Greeny. I find this whole thing to be disgraceful. Deion may want to talk about love and joy, and that's been the cornerstone of what he seems to be spewing out. But treating reporters like this seems like we're in some autocratic country. This is not America, and the fact that it's in his contract is really even more absurd. But don't forget, he did this at Jackson State. This is a trait of Deion Sanders. He wants to have it his way, and I find him to be a bully and a hypocrite. And quite frankly, as someone who has been a fan of his throughout his entire career, even at Colorado, I am mortified by his actions.
Dan Orloff.
So there it is. My man is mortified at Deion's action. He didn't just say he's disgusted. He's mortified at what's happening there. So again, Deion must respond. He was on a podcast with RG3, who was recently fired from ESPN, RG3, which I think is ridiculous, by the way. I think RG3 is really good on TV. That's just me. The former Baylor quarterback, great. The former Washington Redskin and Baltimore Raven. I'm a fan of RG3. I like them on TV. They got rid of him to bring up Travis Kelce's brother to be on NFL Countdown. Jason Kelce, who's got a good personality, but to fire somebody, to bring, that's a whole nother thing. But nonetheless, RG3 has his own podcast. It's pretty successful. He does with his wife. And they talked to Coach Prime. I believe it came out yesterday or the day before. And Deion gave his reaction after RG3's wife asked him about what Paul Feinbaum had to say in that clip I played. So here we go. And give me your thoughts on what Coach Prime had to say in this instance about haters. Y'all know how that is with some people. So here we go.
We had in high school football that we had at Jackson State that we have now. We hadn't changed the formula. Right. It's the same formula. It's just different customers.
So when you hear guys like Paul Feinbaum calling your program irrelevant,
But he talking about us. How can we be irrelevant and you talking about me?
Yeah.
Like every time I turn around, somebody's sending me a quote that you talking about. So
he's a fan.
How? well, the thing about a fan, you got to understand, a fan only blows when you're hot.
Oh, man. Then a commercial wants to come up right in the middle. Deion starting to preach. He said a fan only comes when you're hot. Let me go back. Hold on.
How can we be irrelevant and you talking about me?
Yeah.
Like every time I turn around, somebody's sending me a quote that you talking about. So
he's a fan.
How? well, the thing about a fan, you got to understand, a fan only blows when you're hot.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go away.
Come on, man. I'm writing these down, man.
Yeah. A fan only blows when you're hot. So we must be hot.
I love that.
Right.
I love that.
So I know what he's doing, and I'm proud of him that he's smart enough to understand that this generation and this thought process and the way we communicate on sports is different.
Yes.
And he's a dying breed. So what does he have to do to stay and keep up with this change? Oh, I got to go find that big bad wolf and talk about it.
Yeah.
So now I keep my relevancy. And I'm saying, cool, but I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to add to you. I'm not going to respond because that's what you want. Yeah, you just want me to respond. I don't do that. I'm not going to help you come up.
I love it. Listen, there's so many layers to that reference that you made.
Yeah, there's layers, but and I agree with Deion, but guess what, Deion? You're in a little bit of denial because you just responded. You just responded. I like what he said, but you say, I don't respond. It's not what I do. That's not true. You respond to everything. Everything. We just played clips. You responding to all these different people. Now, maybe some of them deserved it. And if you're going to do it, and stand by it. Don't be out here saying, I don't respond. You responded now. It was several minutes of a response. I enjoyed it, but it was a response. It was so much of a response. Guess what? That same guy was on with Stephen A. First Take this morning, talking about what Deion said in response to Paul Feinbaum. I don't have that clip because I ain't going to play 1,000 clips today. But in essence, what was Paul Feinbaum doing? He was laughing. I saw it. He was laughing, saying he appreciates Deion responding. Because that's what he does. He responds. If you're going to respond, say you respond. He had a great point. Kevin said it. Coach Prime had a great point. Yes, he did. I liked it. But don't say you don't respond while responding. That's hilarious. Come on, man. If you're going to respond, just do it and own up to it. And again, I like the response that he gave. But the only problem is you said you didn't respond. So now Paul Feinbaum's probably going to try to say something else to get another response. And the only thing I didn't like was Stephen A. getting on TV. And I guess he doesn't like to make an interview of Paul Feinbaum. Stephen A., you're bigger than him. You're bigger than everybody on that network. To get up there and say to Deion, he says, Deion, that's my man, we're friends and all that. And then to say, basically say you misunderstood what Paul Feinbaum was saying and that he doesn't talk negative about you and this, that, and the other. Stop it. I like Stephen A. a lot more than most people seem to do when you read the comments on his videos. I really do. As a reporter, a personality in sports, funny, informative. I think he has more good points than people give him credit for in a lot of things. But in that instance, and I see him do that sometimes, it is so annoying where you feel like you got to protect somebody, especially when it's a white dude that's being criticized by a black man. And I am bringing that up again. Don't make yourself look subservient just because you want to protect somebody. You don't have to protect. He called Deion, he called Deion a hypocrite. You don't think somebody should be able to respond to that? Anybody calls me a hypocrite, if I can say the word correctly, I'm pretty sure any of y'all get called a hypocrite on a national platform, you're going to want to respond. And to sit up there and try to defend this dude, no. Then he tries to, Anyway, I didn't like that. But all of that is for ratings. Shout out to Kevin, who just some more great comments here. He says, all of this is about ratings. This is what the network wants. That's true. And, Stephen A. is all about the network, especially with the money they're paying him. And I guess I can understand that. Let's see. Paul Feinbaum got ratings from this. Yeah, that's true. GKP says, mortified. LOL. I know, right? No, Feinbaum could give a care about being mortified about what Deion is saying. So at the end of the day, my summarization of all of this is if you want to respond, you can, but you have to be careful for giving this type of stuff all of your energy when you're supposed to be coaching the football team. Now, I'm sure Deion's smart enough that he can compartmentalize one thing to another and not let it affect his coaching. I'm sure it's not going to get to that degree. But don't make them make you respond, And I don't really think, because one thing about the media, being in the media myself and all that, and being in the media, of course, from the Memphis perspective in that area and everywhere else when you're online. One thing about that, me and Bob have been in situations where we had to fight for media passes, fight for attention from certain sports teams and stuff like that. And we know it's a big deal when you get in access to places. And when access is taken away, it can be a big deal to a media member. So I understand that. But at the same time, when you do something to actively antagonize that team or the people on that team or the coaches on that team, and then you want to play the victim, that's wrong too. You can't do that. You do all this negative talk, and then when they take the media pass from you or they don't let you ask any questions, I don't know if that's even worse. They said he can still come to the games. He can still sit in the press box as a media member, and he can still come to certain things, but he can't ask no questions. I don't know if that's worse. You sitting there, you can't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Even though you get access to a free game. So I don't know. Maybe they should have just banned him from everything, so you can't even be in the building. Maybe that should have been worse. But either way it goes, when the team responds, don't act surprised. So I'm not going to sit up here and say, he's a victim and all this. You say what you say. There are repercussions for your actions. So that's what I'll say when it comes to that. But I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to come back for one last short little segment for a few minutes just to talk about college football coming up this weekend and how much things have changed from the way it used to be. So much so. It's really kind of unbelievable. So I'm going to talk about that for a few minutes. When I come back, you're watching Josh Talk Sports podcast, and I'll be back.
I got to tout the best seasonings. Pastor, look, this guy's a friend of mine. His name is Bob Midget, and he owns a company called BJ's Barbecue and Sauces. You can reach him at bjsbarbecueandsauces.com. And I know you can cook now. You know Bob. Of course, you know Bob.
Yeah,
Bob's living in Georgia now, and he's opened up a company. Man, I've tried his dry rub. I've tried his barbecue sauce. It is off the hook.
Well, I remember when he's out there.
Exactly. Bob's Country Barbecue.
Yeah.
Well, now he's showing you why his barbecue was so good because of the sauces and the dry rubs that he have on it. I use it every day.
Okay.
I put his dry rub on my eggs. That's how good it is.
Oh, that must be really good.
You remember Campbell Soup? Remember the commercial? It was good.
Yeah.
It is absolutely incredible. I need you to go to bjbarbecueandsauces.com and order a box set of everything. He has hot sauce. He has barbecue sauce. He has dry rub. I'm telling you, he has mild sauce. He has hot sauce. All of it is delectable. It is bellissimo. And I want you to go to bjbarbecueandsauces.com. Again, bjbarbecueandsauces.com and at least order that barbecue and that dry rub. I'm telling you, you will throw all the rest of your seasonings away because it covers it all. I'm telling you the truth. bjbarbecueandsauces.com. Go to it right now, order it, and get the best seasonings that you've ever tasted in your life, because I tell you, it's good.
All right, we are back. Josh Talk Sports closing segment here. Appreciate y'all for watching. Football season is here. I'm reading this comment just came in. Frankie says football season and Paul's show is cranking up. That's true. That's true. And this type of talk will draw more people to the show. Deion is a lightning rod. Either you like him or you don't. So generally, there is no middle ground. 100% true. 100% true. So I think that's a good way to kind of sum it up there, because you see it all right now just in this discussion that we've been having. You either like him or you don't. So let's go to this. A lot of games coming up this weekend in college football. Tons of things. You know, how excited are y'all, by the way, for college football coming up? Big time. And when I say so much has changed, it is really true. So much has really changed from really, it seems like year to year, so much changes. Like this year, you got the 12-team playoff, which I'm really excited about, by the way. I love the fact that it's 12 teams. A lot more teams are able to fight for a national title. A lot of people feel like the Memphis Tigers will be one of the group of 5 teams that can get in if they do what they need to do. Had Greg earlier predicted that the Tigers will only lose 2 games this year, which we'll see that puts them in position for that. But like I said, so much going on. We already had the big upset that happened this past weekend with Georgia Tech taking down Florida State, and our old buddy Mike Norvell already with a disappointment to start the year. So you got all that going. And now this year is the real first week of the season. Like you got all the teams are playing right now. Just looking through the list, you got the Georgia Tech game right there. It was already a big upset. It's going through. There are several games tomorrow. Kansas plays. You got Missouri and Murray State, Utah, Southern Utah, Oklahoma. And check this. This is going to be so weird. This is Oklahoma's first year in the SEC. That is crazy. Who would have ever thought? Taking on the Temple Owls Friday. Big game coming up Saturday to start off the afternoon, 12 p.m. You got Georgia, the number 1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs, taking on the Clemson Tigers in Athens, Georgia. Clemson's 14th in the country. Can they stand up to Georgia, who's become the new Alabama, at least over the past couple of years, with their dominance? Does Clemson have enough nowadays to take that on? You got Penn State, ranked 8th in the country, taking on West Virginia. West Virginia is one of those teams, I don't know nothing about them, but they're always one of those teams that can upset somebody, it seems like, every year. You got the Tennessee Volunteers, who I am shocked are not ranked starting the year, taking on Chattanooga. Colorado State versus number 4 Texas. And guess what about Texas, y'all? Texas is in the SEC. What in the world is going on? Ohio State taking on Akron. You got the 19th ranked Miami, Florida Hurricanes. Are they trying to make a comeback? They're ranked 19th in the country to start the year. And guess who they play first? The Florida Gators. That's a nice matchup. Florida's not ranked, but still, it's Florida. Alabama's ranked 5th in the country to start off. They're taking on Western Kentucky. So that should be a bloodbath right there. You got one big matchup. You got Notre Dame ranked 7th in the country, taking on 20th ranked Texas A&M. That should be interesting. Michigan versus Fresno State. Michigan coming off the national title, 9th in the country. Jim Harbaugh is gone to the NFL. So that's something to watch. And then Sunday night, 13th ranked LSU versus 23rd ranked USC, Southern California Trojans. And Monday night, it's a Monday night college football game. September 2nd, Florida State, after that big loss, takes on Boston College. So a lot of interesting things to look forward to. What are y'all most looking forward to? Or is it just to sit and watch college football, period? Is that the main thing? You guys are just glad that it's back. Frankie says, I'm very excited for football, college and pro. And also says, what, North Dakota State versus Colorado. Thank you, Frankie. The perfect segue. Coach Prime, tomorrow, Colorado plays North Dakota State, 7 p.m. on ESPN. Y'all check that out unless y'all are mortified by Coach Prime. So we'll talk about that definitely. But I'm going to show y'all something. And y'all see the games I was looking through. I got it up on the screen there. Look at this. All right, you see the AAC that Memphis is in, right? Got Temple, Texas San Antonio, Charlotte, Rice, Army, East Carolina, Memphis, Navy, Tulane, Tulsa, North Texas, UAB, South Florida, and Florida Atlantic. Not the most exciting conference in the world. So there's that. But look at this. It shows how much college football has changed. Look at the Big Ten. Big Ten is known for Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, Maryland, Minnesota. Y'all know those teams, right? But look who else is in the Big Ten this year. I'm just going to go through it real quick. Rutgers, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, Illinois, Nebraska, Maryland, Michigan State, Minnesota, Northwestern. Those are the usual suspects, right? Ohio State, Penn State, Purdue, Wisconsin. Normal. Now look who's there. Oregon, the USC Trojans, the UCLA Bruins, and the Washington Huskies are in the Big Ten within the same conference with Michigan and Ohio State and Penn State. That is weird. Look at the Big 12 now. Colorado's first year in the Big 12, leaving the Pac-12, formerly the Pac-10. You got West Virginia, Colorado. You got Arizona State. Two more teams used to be in the Pac-10. Baylor, Houston, coming from the AAC. TCU, Texas Tech, BYU, Utah, Cincinnati, and Central Florida. Now let me go to the independent teams, the teams that are not in a conference. Notre Dame, UConn is now independent, and UMass. Got the Mountain West. Some teams from the Pac-12 went there, like Fresno State, Colorado State. They're there with Hawaii, Wyoming, whatever, right? No knock on them. And look at the Pac-12. The conference that used to have all these teams I just named is only two teams, Oregon State and Washington State. Unbelievable. Now, the best one and the most crazy, or the craziest, to use proper grammar, is the SEC. And y'all already know. Now, I want y'all to listen to this, and I'm about to go. Look at who's in this conference right now. Crazy stuff. Look at this. Oklahoma, Missouri, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, South Carolina, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, but you can throw them to the side, Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn, LSU, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Texas, and Texas A&M. That is absolutely insane. They're all just going to knock each other off every week. Every week is going to be, unless you're playing Vanderbilt, every week is going to be competitive. It's unbelievable, and I really can't wait to see it play out. I promise. And you got the SBC East. I don't know what that is, but I'm not paying attention to that. So that is the state of college football right now. Even the ACC, Stanford's in the ACC now. I mean, what in the world? California is in the ACC with Duke and Clemson. You know, SMU, who was one of our rivals in the AAC, they're now in the same conference with Florida State and Miami and Duke. College football has changed a lot. So if you hadn't paid attention in a while, then you're going to be kind of in shock. You know what I'm saying? So had to put that out there, let y'all know what's going on. NFL starting up soon, so we're going to talk about that later on as well, man. But appreciate all of y'all that have interacted with the show and commented and called and all that. I'm going to be back same next week. I'll put it next week with another edition, unless something else pops off and I just decide to go live again. But just keep in contact with this channel, wherever you're watching it, whether Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn as well. Streaming live on there. Didn't even know you could do that. So we're everywhere you can see us, man. Just look up Talkback Live Network or Joshua Midget on Facebook, and you'll be able to find our stuff. So that's it for me. That's it for Josh Talks Sports. And I will see you guys next time. Y'all stay easy. Be blessed.
But before we go, I got to tout the best seasonings. Pastor, look, this guy's a friend of mine. His name is Bob Midget, and he owns a company called BJ's Barbecue and Sauces. You can reach him at bjsbarbecueandsauces.com. And I know you can cook now. You know Bob. Of course, you know Bob.
Yeah,
Bob's living in Georgia now, and he's opened up a company. Man, I've tried his dry rub. I've tried his barbecue sauce. It is off the hook.
Well, I remember when he's out there.
Exactly. Bob's Country Barbecue.
Yeah.
Well, now he's showing you why his barbecue was so good because of the sauces and the dry rubs that he have on it. I use it every day.
Okay.
I put his dry rub on my eggs. That's how good it is.
Oh, that must be really good.
You remember Campbell's soup? Remember the commercial? It was good.
Yeah.
It is absolutely incredible. I need you to go to bjbarbecueandsauces.com and order a box set of everything. He has hot sauce, he has barbecue sauce, he has dry rub. I'm telling you, he has mild sauce, he has hot sauce. All of it is delectable. It is bellissimo. And I want you to go to bjbarbecueandsauces.com. Again, bjbarbecueandsauces.com and at least order that barbecue and that dry rub. I'm telling you, you will throw all the rest of your seasonings away because it covers it all. I'm telling you the truth. bjbarbecueandsauces.com. Go to it right now, order it, and get the best seasonings that you've ever tasted in your life. Because I tell you, it's good.